Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a very special show. I have someone who is very dear to my heart. Oh, my goodness. And I can't wait to introduce you to her. And you can see her right there, Dianna Jerry. But first, I want to introduce myself, and then we'll do Nivedita and just go that way. So, my name is Dianne Ojar, and I am what you call the experiential coach. Why? Because I love to give you that experiential breakthrough experience for you to become the person that you need to be. Not what you want to be, but you need to be. Different note, of course, you know me as a media, an author. I do the elephant in the room, which I'm going to announce and mention some stats in a moment. But I just want to say, I want you all to reach out. And those who are catching us right now, please do share this. And those who will catch us on the replay, please do put your comments. And anyone who make a comment, oh, I shouldn't say make a comment, have a question, you probably will be able to use my wheel. Dana, you haven't seen my wheel yet, or maybe you did. So that's me in a nutshell, and you get to know me as we go along. So thank you all for sharing this hour, or maybe a little bit more, with us. And I love to introduce my co-host, Nivedita Saraswati, who's all the way in Australia. So welcome, Nivedita.
Thank you. As always, it's such a pleasure to be here. And my name is Nivedita Saraswati. I'm from Melbourne in Australia, and I am the owner and business person of my virtual healing center. My virtual healing center is an online healing center, and I have many, many modalities that I offer to help people, including coaching and including in June, it'll be weight management as well. I will have finished my course by then. I'm a mother of 3 daughters, but all of them are in their 50s. And I have 7 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. So I'm kept very busy with all of that. So it's a pleasure to be here and to meet you, Dianna.
Well, let me just say something about Dianna first before she even talks, because she's a little bit modest and shy about some things. This young lady here is a mother of 6. I said it, 6. And they range from 20, she'll tell you what, to like 3-4 years old. And she doesn't look a day like that. I've known Dianna, we were just talking about that, because time goes, my goodness, almost about 10 years, give or take. I can't remember Dianna. But Dianna is one of those people who, she's really from the heart. She's a makeup artist. She does hair, makeup. She's holistic. She's wellness. She's Reiki. She's all of those things. And I would not steal her thunder. But she used to, with the love in her heart, actually help me and work with me when I first had my business, my first studio. And we've done a lot there, Dianna. And I want to say thank you so much. And I also have a namesake with your daughter, who is the same as my birthday. Mm-hmm. So welcome, Dianna, to the Nivedita and Dianne show.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for having me. As Dianne said, my name is Dianna. All my friends call me Lady Di, so feel free to call me Lady Di. I am a mother of 6. My oldest is 23, and my youngest is 3. So quite a range there, but they definitely keep me young and busy. I am a holistic beauty and wellness coach to moms and other women. And I'm really, like I said, I'm really passionate about helping women to live their best life, to return to self-love, and especially with mothers, because, as we can all 3 of us know, as a mom, we can kind of get lost in the shuffle, lost in everything we need to do, and forget about ourselves. So part of my mission is to help them to live their best life and live life on their terms. So I'm really honored to be able to do the work that I do and help women in this way.
Thank you for that. And I just want to let you know, for a long time, Dianna was a single mom, doing all of this and balancing her lifestyle and the kids and and building her business. And she was just mentioned to me, and she reminded me, she'll tell you what year it was. I don't remember when we had the Queen's Rising. We'll talk a little bit about as well when we put that together. So we've done a lot over the years, come and gone, come and gone. There are times when I would go somewhere and she'll come and do my hair and makeup and all those things. And, your kids are such smart kids. And, Chase, our oldest, is doing well, celebrating her first anniversary online business. So you live by example, especially to your kids. I've always loved you. And we may not be together all the time. From time to time, when we do, we do. No, we don't, we don't. So I want to thank you so much for that. Let's just start saying a little bit about, you talk about women. Of course, we never forget men because we work with men. You were doing something with the late Tracy Thomas as well in honoring men and women. So I know you from that space. So let's talk a little bit about how this came about, your journey, and let's go from there.
Yes. So in 2001, I lost my mom, who was also a single mom, to pancreatic cancer. And along her journey of, going through chemo and going through, doctor's appointments and still trying to be the best mom that she could, I realized that there was a little bit of a disconnect with how she was living her lifestyle. So, like I said, as moms, we sometimes forget about ourselves. We sometimes, put our health and our wellness on the back burner. And I saw that firsthand with her. And when she passed away 9 months later into, after she was diagnosed, I made a promise to myself and to my daughter, Chase, at that time, that I wouldn't leave her alone at a young age. I would be there to see her through her whole life, to see my grandkids, to just live a full, happy, vital life. And after I met her, after I lost her, it was hard. I was lost for a while. I got into a really traumatic relationship, ended up having more children. And when I reached the lowest point in my life, I realized that what I needed more than anything was the support of other women. And what I was missing was that support and that connection. So, as I built myself back up, as I, continued on my wellness journey, I met other women who were kind of going through the same things, who were, feeling the same way. And I started a circle, like a women's group. So my company, Loving, started as a group, just a support group for myself and other women. Fast forward now, it's blossomed into a beautiful business where I can utilize my skills. I have a background in aesthetics and beauty. I've been in the fashion industry for many, many years. And tying in my newfound love for healing and wellness, I was able to create this company where I have services and products that will help women on their journey to wellness as well. So I'm super, super happy to announce that on May 1st, I'm going to be having my grand opening for my new location in North York. Maybe next is New York, but in North York. And, I would love for everyone who's watching who is able to come out and see the space there.
Sounds amazing what you've been through.
Yeah, I mean, I know we all have our stories and we all have our ups and downs through life. And I think that's what makes us stronger as women. That's what brings us together. And that's what we can learn from to help each other on all of our journeys. Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things people don't understand is that you cannot get through life until you know your story or have a story. And we all have a story. The issue we have is we don't want to share the story. But I have to say I congratulate you for being willing, because I also have to say congratulations. You're no longer a single mom in a sense. You found this. You found the love of your life.
For sure.
And and it makes a big difference because you need that support. And that again is part of your story. And you understand the
Mhm.
more you tell your story, is the more it attracts people to you. It attracts people to what you're doing. It attracts who you are. Positioning is everything. This is all about positioning. And we've talked about a couple of things, what we can do and collaborate. And if you want to collaborate with Dianna, please do, Lady D. And by the way, we both have that nickname in common, except they call it her, they refer to her a little bit more often than they do for me and my uncle and so forth. They do. I have quite a few people who do that. So that's one of the things we have in common. One of the, Nivedita, go ahead before I can go on because I just love this girl.
I can tell. I can tell. So tell us more about the beauty. Everybody, all women want to know more about beauty, and you look so young and beautiful, and you've
Well,
kept
thank
yourself really
you.
well.
Yes, I've been in the beauty industry for more than 15 years. I worked with a lot of the bigger brands over here in Canada, the Bay. I've worked for Shoppers, Sephora, all of the big names. But along my journey, I realized that there are so many harmful chemicals in our skincare products, in our beauty products. And I made a part of my mission to help educate women about the toxins in our skincare and help give them solutions for more holistic, natural products. So that's what I offer as well. I will be offering to in the space. But I also do educate on that. I have workshops that I help to educate women on that as well. Because as you're probably learning too, when we more focus on what we're putting in our bodies when we're on our wellness journey, we'll maybe start eating better and maybe exercising, but we don't always take into account the things that we put on our skin, and that goes into our bloodstream. So it's also going to affect our health and wellness.
Absolutely.
But we talk about beauty, we talk about everything, the inside out and outside. There's a yin and a yang to everything. So what you
Right.
put in comes out, and what you comes in goes out. And we have to acknowledge that. For those who are joining us, please do ask a question or comment because I'm going to put Diana on the spot and say to Diana, for those who ask Diana a question, Diana, do you have something you can give away so we can give them heads up?
For sure. I actually have a copy of a book that I co-authored with the late Tracy Thomas, one of my good friends who unfortunately passed away in December. So I would love to give away a copy of this book. It's a beautiful book about your journey to faith, love, and purpose. And I talk about my own self-love journey and my mission going forward as well.
I don't have a copy of that book, eh? So
Okay, well, I have one for you too then.
I'd
and
like a
give me as well. We had
Okay.
Alistair on last week on the show,
Yes, that was
and I
amazing.
also had him on the radio show as well. And Alistair has taken over as well, and you all are looking into moving that awards and the recognition and forward as well. So I compliment you on that.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to continuing with Tracy's legacy and continuing with the awards and figuring out how we can continue with her magazine as well.
So let's talk about being the example out there to many, and we all can all share our stories. We've all been through a lot. What are some of the challenge? Give us one or two examples of some of the most challenging times you had, maybe in business or as a single mom or just being a woman. Whatever it is you want to share, because I want people to know we just don't sit down and here we are today. One of the things we do is we talk. I talk a lot about is, well, me, right? So about the traumas and the elephants, I refer to them as elephants in the room now. And you've been through a lot with that too as well. And I just want to pop this up here for shameless. It says here, you know, um, sexual abuse, rape is the most underreported crime. And 63% of sexual assault are not reported to the police. And only 12% of children's sexual abuse is reported to authorities. Now, I put this on here for many reasons so people know that, of course, I work with it. But the other side is, this may or may not pertain to Diana's story, but these all leads back to childhood trauma. And when you think about some of the things that happens, people don't understand these are triggers. And people don't understand is like this is what happens when you believe you found someone, a soulmate, but it's not a right fit. Why? It could have been of something that you heard in the past or something that's anchored to you that's part of your story. So you always wonder why it is, we can't move forward. And I'm sure you felt that for many, many, many years, knowing you. I know your story, well, most of it at least, or bits and pieces, and so forth. But all these things are sort of obstacles that hinder until you meet someone finally after having 5 kids who really love you for you and is part of your journey now. But from there, from the beginning to now, it was quite challenging. There are times when you didn't even know how you're going to survive. Is that correct?
Definitely, definitely. And I would say, growing up to a single mom, I think that was probably one of the biggest challenges, just because I've realized that a lot of the things that happened to me later in life was because of that feeling of abandonment back then. So I was always, going through life looking for approval, not making decisions on my own because I didn't feel like I was capable. And I think that's been one of my challenges, is that fear of abandonment and that fear of like, who am I to? And even over the years as an adult, helping other women and hosting events and doing all these things, those things still crept up for me. But I feel like because I found my purpose and I know why I'm here and I know what my calling is, I realized that it's a purpose greater than my own hangups, my own issues. It's a purpose that is of service and that is to help other people along the way. So I kind of got over, I still have my days, of course, we all have our challenges, but I was able to like get past that voice that told me, who am I to? And just moving forward. So even along my entrepreneurial journey, it's still been that challenge, and I think it's going to be a struggle going forward. But that's where your practice and that's where, the tools that I've learned along the way come in. And that's why I'm also passionate about helping women learn the tools, meet the people, give them the opportunities that I have been given as well.
Thank you for that. And here's a couple of things I would say to you is that one, I know your kids. I know you when your kids were young, and you give your kids every, like, you could be doing something, anything, and you will give them attention right there on the spot. You let them think for yourself. You don't push them away. And I know this about you because I've seen it. You have patience with the kids. There's no question about that. So I applaud you for that. And, in regards to everything else that you do, you always include others and say, no, this is not my network and you can't come into my network. That's not who you are. Mm-hmm. You always encourage others to network with others and bring in other modalities because you can't be, a jack of all trades. Right. So I applaud you because you're always looking to collaborate with everyone else. So definitely, I'm just going to put up her information for those who may want to, get in touch with her. But I thank you for that. And there's something else I was going to say about that. But definitely, I see you as a mother first before anything else, because of how you treat your children, to think for themselves, the kindness. You don't yell and shout at them. So when we talk about abandonment, you're doing the total opposite to give your kids everything, and I've seen you, every ounce of energy, blood, sweat, and tears that you have inside of you. And I've always said this to you, I admire you for being, at the time you were 5 kids, now you're 6. And I don't know how you do it.
Definitely had to learn a lot of patience, that's for sure. And I will say that was something that I definitely had to learn, because I can be a little bit hasty naturally, but
you're human, Dianna. For goodness sake, you're human.
but yes, I definitely learned. That's something that they've taught me, is patience. And they teach you so much about yourself as well. Like, each one has their own personality, each one has their own journey. And I feel like I'm just here to kind of guide them along the way and allow them to make the mistakes. We want to like shelter them. We want to, like, preserve them and do all the things that we can do to help prevent them from getting hurt, right? But it is their journey. Ultimately, it is their own journey. So I just feel like we're just along for the ride. We're along to guide them and give them advice and give them, our experience, but allow them to live and to make their own mistakes as well. And
Well,
just help them.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about that. First of all, we don't own them. We don't own anything. No one, anything. That's number one. Number two is the fact that they chose us as parents long before. So you're here to teach them the lessons. There's no mistakes. There's no failures. It's lessons. And I know they have learned some lessons. And along the way, you have as well. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. And you can't hold on to them forever, because that's not why we're here. We cannot hold them and stifle them, because then they would not begin to blossom. Nivedita, please.
Yes, that just actually reminded me of my 3 daughters in their teenage years, and they sat me down and said, "Mum, you've got to start letting us have a bit more freedom, because we have to learn about life through our own mistakes. You can't keep protecting us all the time." And so that was quite a big thing for them to sit me down and say, "Mum, you're being too strict. You have to be less protective of us, because we know you've taught us that we know how to behave, we know how to handle ourselves, and so you just have to allow us to do that." And that was quite an experience that I had, that my children did that with me. And as far as marriage is concerned, you can have all sorts of problems in marriage as well as sexual abuse in marriage. People don't think that you can have sexual abuse in marriage, but you actually can. And I experienced that in my first marriage. Certainly nothing like that in my present marriage.
It's funny you should say that, because one of the things I was saying before, and I know I'll just put this back up again, is the fact that I don't think you can see it that well. I mean, I'm on a little screen, you're on a bigger screen there, is you have sexual abuse, can be mental, physical, emotional, and people don't understand. And we here, because we've been conditioned to say that, yes, this is what we're supposed to do. Now, many of us, every one of us, every single one of us here have had relationships before, after, or maybe will follow through, or you're with your soulmate. But at the end of the day, we're here because we've gone through some of these things. We have to understand we're here to learn. We have to understand that our parents have conditioned us and said, no, you're supposed to do this, 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 this. And a lot of people I know actually want to get out, especially Westerners, I'm sure there's other people as well in different cultures, want to get out their parents' home just because. So the first thing they find, person, they grab it. Yeah. Which, again, is not congruent to who you are. You just want to please. And I know a lot of people who still just want to please their family and parents. And that's what they do, and their kids, and forget about themselves. So, yes, we have sexual abuse. Yes, we have mental abuse. Because, listen, I don't want to say we're blaming it's the men or the women, depends on the spouse, whoever it is. They also are searching for answers, just as much as you are. Yeah. Right? So we have a comment here. This phone never, ever, 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 ever rings. Like ever, never, ever rings. Once, maybe twice a year, for goodness sake. And what it has to do, it has to ring now. I don't even answer it. So Catherine says, to welcome everyone and blessings and wonderful topics, ladies. You know, each and every one of you are beautiful souls. And then she also says here, love the confidence of being a powerful woman as being an overcomer. Diana, you need to connect with Catherine. I don't know if you know Catherine McHale, but you definitely need to connect with Catherine. She is a pastor, and you know she's part of our network as well. I'm actually doing something on my birthday with her group, so you guys should connect as well. So yes,
She is a wonderful person.
Yes, definitely. That's what we do. We network here. We share. You know, we build each other confidence. We'll cry too if we have to cry and everything else. And we're a little crazy when we want to be crazy as well. Please do, Nivedita, go ahead.
I was just thinking before, I did the elephant in the room with Dianne, and that was the first time I met her. And that was life-changing for me because I'd always had issues with self-worth, and that stemmed from my childhood for many reasons. And then in my marriage, I had trouble with self-worth as well because I just didn't feel worthy at all. And all that changed with the elephant in the room because it was such a profound aha moment, and it just reverberated through my whole body, and it made many shifts. And since then I've done many things and felt more confident. And yes, I still have my moments where I'm feeling a little bit insecure and things like that, but you know, you have the tools inside of you to be able to overcome everything. So when people come with a journey that's they've overcome all the emotional hurdles and all the physical hurdles that they've had to overcome as part of their journey, I always honor and respect that because it's such a beautiful, we have such a beautiful journey, and we're meant for such greatness. All of us, each and every one of us, are meant for such greatness.
I want to read something I read. I have the Guanine cards here. So the Guanine Oracle cards, and I pulled this one last time, which comes up every so often. And it's this particular one, the Celestial Mountain. And I'm just going to read the very beginning, the intro, and it's I thought about this last night. I say I have to read it. Maybe resonate with someone who knows. There are times when divine energy is needed to help us to achieve our spiritual goals. And Diana, I know you're very spiritual too. When you do not feel completely in control of your destiny, divine is usually gifting you with an opportunity to reach out for assistance and to invoke divine power to call to the celestial mountains so that you might be gifted with far superior outcome. Your permission, always give ourselves permission. To beings that love you unconditionally to offer you help is an expression of spiritual empowerment. You empower those forces to come to your aid and to help you manifest your life purpose and destiny. Basically what I was saying, and you know, there's one thing I've said before, and it's known there's two dates in your life, and I'm going to keep repeating it every so often. The day you were born, happy birthday. And the day, and you said it before, is the day you discover what your life purpose and destiny is. If you don't know what that is and you're struggling to figure that piece out, this is what you need to do. Give yourself permission to open up and say, I need help. But you got to say from the heart. You've done that many times. You've done that many times. I've done that. Catherine, everyone has done that many times and say, I need help. I say that every day, more or less. And I should say more because, again, we would just be spinning our wheels. Even if you're with your children and you have challenges with your children, and I'm sure they're all calming down by now. I mean, Jazzy is 17 and she was like 10. No, she was younger than 10 when I met her. So these children grew up so fast. But what happens to us in the middle while we're growing up with them? We forget ourselves because we're so focused. So give yourself permission. Not sure why I read that, but give yourself permission to ask for help. Now, of course, symbolic and it's a metaphor in regards to Celestial Mountain, but it's very powerful. You just simply have to reach out and say, I need help. What are your thoughts about that, Dianna?
I think that's such a necessary question to ask for at different times in our lives. Because sometimes we might have a plan and there's a plan greater than we could ever imagine. So sometimes we just need to take that moment to ask those questions and to tap into that connection, that divine connection. And I have like a couple of phrases that I tried to say daily, but I do say regularly. And the questions are, what would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? So basically, again, when we get into our own mind, we can kind of like get into that vicious cycle. But when we ask for help, when we ask those questions, when we leave it up to the divine, we get those answers that we really need better than we could have ever came up with ourselves.
Okay. All right. So let's do that right now. Let's do that with you leading this little exercise practice. Hey, anything comes here. Okay. Trust me on that one. So we're going to let you lead that practice for a couple minutes, and then we're going to do a blessing, a 3-minute blessing, which is super powerful. So I'm just going to mute myself, Nivedita, and let Dianna do what she does best.
Okay. So when we're receiving, I always like to keep our palms up. And the 3 questions that I ask is actually, what would you have me say? Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? And when we ask those questions, we're leaving it up to the divine to give us that inspiration, to give us that message, to give us that guidance that we need, that is greater than ourselves, and that is for the greatest good of everybody who we come in contact with. So I invite you to use those 3 questions daily, maybe in the morning as part of your morning rituals if you have one, or make it your morning ritual to ask those questions to get into the right intentions for the day. So what would you have me say? Where would you have me go? What would you have me do?
Okay. Take a moment and know that the answers that you receive, there's no right or wrong. Feel it in your core. Keep your eyes closed for a moment. Repeat each one at a time. Give it a couple, about 15 seconds or so, Dianna. So say the first one. People breathe through from your heart and connect. Go ahead. The first question.
What would you have me say?
Go
What
ahead.
would you have me do? Where would you have me go?
And I want you guys to keep your eyes closed since we have you in this space. And I'm going to read a 3-minute blessing. Very simple, very powerful. So many of you, keep your eyes closed, who know Nivedita and myself. Yes, we do have our master teacher, very powerful. We do work with a very, very unique and special modality. Dianna has experienced it as well. And right now, I'm going to tap in for about 3 minutes. Very simple, and you can repeat. And this comes from the 9 layers of heaven and the universe. I'm going to do it in English. So you're going to receive a very special blessing, very powerful. And to receive a soul healing service, silently say from the bottom of your heart, it must come from the bottom of your heart. And repeat, dear soul of G. Gan Shah, G. Gan Shah, I love you. Could you give me a soul healing for my, and name the unhealthy conditions for which you like to receive a healing blessing. Take a moment. And Dr. Master Shah has a very special connection with the heavens, team, and divine. You're tapping directly into his soul. Choose and name the unhealthy condition for which you like to receive healing blessing. And then you say, I am grateful. Thank you. I want you to just completely relax. You sit up straight, of course, for about 3 minutes so you can close your eyes so you can receive the healing blessing from his soul. You could put one hand in your lower abdomen, one hand by your sternum, by your heart. We call it mesocenter, your heart chakra, your fourth gear, whatever you choose to call it. And just breathe from your heart. Feel it. Feel your heart. 3 minutes. And as you finish up that, keep your eyes closed. Continue to keep your eyes closed. Another 30 seconds or so. And we're going to do a very simple forgiveness practice. Very simple. So put your two hands in your lower abdomen. For those who know the yin yang, you can put your hands like this. Put it on your lower abdomen. That's where forgiveness, relationships, finance, immunity, and so forth is there. That's one of your energy centers. And we're going to invite the souls. Keep breathing now in your lower abdomen. Your heart, you open your heart and you met all blockages, which basically means all the struggles and the darkness and so forth. And we call on the souls. They're all the souls who my ancestor and I may have hurt, cheated, harmed, disrespected in words, actions, deeds, thoughts, whatever, any capacity, in any lifetimes and realms. We ask for forgiveness. Take a deep breath and feel that release. Feel it, how your body feels. Deep breaths, belly breaths. And then we call, thank you. And then we call on the souls who may have hurt us and our ancestors in any capacity we mention, in any realms of lifetime. We give forgiveness. We forgive you. Please note that we no longer owe anyone a debt. Our debt's been cancelled. Take some deep breaths and feel how relieved you feel, how much lighter. And you may want to practice this every day because it's layers and layers and layers, as Diana was mentioning. As we peel off a layer, there's something else going to come up, something else going to come up, something else going to come up. Take some deep breaths. Relax. Do 3 deep breaths. Last one. When you're ready, open your eyes. Shake yourself off a little bit. And please, ladies, do share.
I'd like to share. That was such a beautiful experience, as always. What I had to say was, I love my heart and soul, which are the first 3 lines of Love, Peace, Harmony, Soul Song. The second thing I had to do was slow down, because I tend to be quite speedy. That's why I trip over things all the time. And the third thing I had to do was actually go more into silence, because in the silence is where you receive very deep messages. And during the practice that you took us through, Diana, instantly there was a beautiful pinky red lotus in my message center, in my heart center. And it was actually had golden flames coming out of it, actually fire. And that was just radiating in my heart center. And those flames eventually turned to golden light, but it was flames first. So it was burning up all the negative information that may have been in my heart center through lifetimes of suffering and things like that. So it's just so profound and so powerful. And then eventually everything just turned into pure light and peace and stillness. It's just a wonderful experience. Thank you. Something that is so short is so powerful. There's no such thing as time and space.
Absolutely. Tanya?
Yes, and sometimes just like taking those moments throughout the day can just change everything. So can just like change, like you were saying, a negative situation or something that you see as negative going on in your day into a positive. Like while I was going through, while I was listening to you through that meditation, I just began to think about like some of the things that I was holding on to, some of the things that I needed to forgive because they no longer served me, and also some people who I needed to forgive. So I just took the moment to give that forgiveness, and I felt instantly lighter, instantly lighter. But sometimes you don't even think about the pain that you're holding on to for people who have hurt you as well. So so forgiving them and giving them that energy is such a beautiful thing, because they probably don't even know that you're holding on to that energy, right? It's more about you than them anyways, right? So just thinking about that, just I felt instantly lighter, instantly just more empowered, really. And yes, just more peaceful for sure. I definitely feel more peaceful, especially in my sacral chakra.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. What most people don't understand is, and you're right, we think we think with our minds. We don't feel from our hearts. And more, and you're all into the mind, um, body, soul, mind. Was it minds? I'm so used to saying the other way now I can't remember. But the mind first, right? Mind, body, soul. Mind, body, soul. That's what it is. Because we believe the mind is the controller. The mind is not the controller. Your soul is a controller for you, and then your heart. So when you like you just said, and you said it, and maybe not directly in those words, we think it because we're thinking from the mind. That's why I wanted people to focus on their heart. And people don't, everybody is on this journey doing their best to discover what in the world is wrong with me. And yes, there's a lot of people who have drama, and we hold on to the drama because we have attachments. And we attach to the emotions. If we have no expectations, we have no disappointment. So therefore, we don't have any attachment, even if it's for kids, because they have their own journey. You only own your children for a certain time, but once they're off, they're off, and that's all it is. So I do appreciate that in regards to all taking the time. And funny, the I don't know about you guys, but suddenly everything just feels much calmer. Even the conversation, notice how we slow down in the way we're talking, or everything just feels calmer. And if we can do this, we can control our space around us. Forgiveness is key, but from the heart, from your sacral. That's where it is. Also, forgiveness is in your heart as well, with relationship, everything else, including business, including health, wealth, everything. That's what it is. So it's not disconnected whatsoever. So I want to thank you all for actually, it doesn't have to take a lot of time to do this. So what's coming up now for you, Dianna?
What's coming up for me?
Oh, wait. Before you do this, I have to share a story. Remember the first Queen's Rising? And I was on stage and I was doing a meditation or something. I don't know what.
I was thinking about this earlier. It's so funny that you brought this up.
I don't remember, but you were sitting on the stool. I mean, you were bawling and crying after that because of the kids, and then everybody was so emotional. And you were levitating. You were pretty much, you have a lot of out of body experience. Do you remember that? She was standing next to me, and a few people had to come and hold you down.
Yeah, I was literally out of my seat.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday, and that was I believe now that was part of that release, that because at that time I was holding on to a lot of I guess you can say abandonment, pain from abandonment, from losing my mom that I didn't even realize. And it was my sister who was there that day, and she came over to me and she said, mom would be really proud of what you're doing, of the women that you're helping, of the mission that you've taken on. And that's why I bawled, because she is why I do the work that I do. She was the inspiration to my own healing, but also to help others heal as well. So yeah, that was just a confirmation from her, I'm assuming, that I was going on the right path. And we've had lots of meetings since then. I know We had a Reiki session which was amazing.
Wait. I gotta talk about
Mhm.
that Reiki session, okay? So that Reiki session, um, I didn't know, but I know I passed out. Diana was going in for her Reiki, and she needed some, demo, some practice demo, so forth, to pass the certification. So I said, okay, no problem. And we've had about maybe two or three, but this one particular, and I remember Andrew was there at the time, and literally you two had to hold me down, hold me back, because literally I was out of my body. I didn't understand any of that stuff at the time. I was like, but I remember I was so tired and I was out of it, so I couldn't recuperate at that time, and I had to just lie there, which is kind of odd. So having that, and they said to you, "My God, you were just flying, like you were
Yeah,
just." So you still do Reiki sessions, do
I
you?
do. I do still do Reiki. I also do a distance healing. So if anyone is interested in having a distance healing, I can do that to anyone worldwide. But I do in person, and I will be doing it at my new space as well. So definitely the reason I will share with you, the reason why I decided to become a Reiki healer was because of my own experience with a Reiki healer. Um, Long story short, I was in the middle of a miscarriage when I had that healing, and
I remember that. Yes.
yeah, and the healer just felt such a need to spend a lot of time in my sacral area. And after I didn't know too much about Reiki, didn't know too much about energy, and about a month later, I became very ill. I had to be rushed to the hospital, and I was told at that time that I had an ectopic pregnancy and that my fallopian tube had ruptured, and I lost 3.5 liters of blood. So more than half of my blood had leaked out into my body, and my body was going into shock, and I had to have emergency surgery as well as a blood transfusion right there. So I definitely feel like energy is something that we need to understand a little bit more because it's such a important part of our healing and how we can also help each other. And I do credit that healing to partially it was saving my life. So experiencing that and realizing that I too could help others in healing. And I mean, I was always a healer. I just didn't understand. I was always there was always energy coming from my hands. I've been stopped twice at the airport for explosive materials coming from these hands. So yes, I realized that there was more to to this thing called energy that I needed to learn more about.
Definitely. I so resonate to what you're saying because I didn't know. And, sometimes it's very difficult for people like you all who know me from a different space, the media side and so forth, to say what she's doing. But you always knew, we always know that we're different. Nivedita herself, she's been in over 40 plus. Nivedita, you have to give us a correct number one day. I will keep saying 40 plus, but I don't even know how long it is that you've been working, and everybody, it's a healer. Everybody has something inside of them. It's where you take it. A friend was saying to me, we had lunch, and he said, do you know which dimension you're in? Now, in our space, we look at the dimensions as different. It's a little different when we're connected with, the saints and the masters and the Buddha. So it's a little bit different, right? But then you also have what we call the fifth dimension, which is a little bit different as well. Now, not to go into all of this. And most people who have control, like we've been in the third dimension, but when it reaches the point, and I had to research all of this, where we no longer have control of our lives, like literally we have no control of our lives anymore. That's when you're living in the fifth dimension. You're guided. I say to people, I don't know why I'm doing this. You've heard me say that how many times? I don't know. And Vivita will say it's divine timing. It's in the flow. So definitely, you would come to me and we would just start talking about God knows what. and we'll end up in a session as well. So I want to thank you for sharing that and being open and honest about that. And yes, we have to do a lot more to collaborate with your gifts and talents and what we have as well, and see where we really can take this to where we need to take this, because together we have so much experience and modalities. It's not even funny. So definitely we'll look at that. So thank you for sharing that. But that just came to mind. But sorry, before we get to Nivita, you were saying, I forgot what we were saying before we went into the Reiki part of it. Oh, I said what was coming up for you. Yes.
Yeah, just a lot of the issues that I've been through, the challenges that I've been through. A lot of it has come up, and there's some things that that come up you don't even think about till they come up, and you're like, oh, wow, okay, yes, this has happened to me, and I've been holding on to this, and it's time to let go. I've had a lot of that happen with the last 57 minutes that we've been on the air, but just a lot of realizations, but also a lot of synchronicities. I've even noticed this year has been a very powerful year so far for manifestation in my life. I don't know if you ladies have felt the same thing, but I feel like this year for me is more of that flow that you've been talking about, more of those. I guess I've sit back and surrender a little bit more and listened and allowed that inspiration to go through me rather than being in the mind so much. So and beautiful things happen when you're in that flow, that space of flow. Interviews come about, spaces come about, things, people come about, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And you know what? I don't believe we've done. No, I don't remember if we've done an elephant. We've done session, but we have not done an elephant in the room. We just go in. That's really deep. You gotta love that. She likes Miss Madame over there. She loves that. She also did the other ones, which is even deeper, deeper. And I'm telling you, if you're talking about, maybe this is why we keep talking about the elephant in the room, which we go to the root cause. That it's a whole nother story. That takes you to a whole nother level. So we should look into that. Those who would like to connect with us for what we do, definitely. But I know everybody always keeps talking about the elephant in the room. We have waves and praises all the time. And I'm telling you, even when we're doing business or business sessions, I recommend that everybody who's doing the class be a student. What's that I'm saying? A graduate student, I have to say, from the elephant in the room, because you come with a different mindset and you don't come with that attachments and all that negative stuff and all that stuff. No. And don't even talk about the vision boards. Diana, we have so much to talk about. It's not even funny. So definitely I want Nivedita to
well, the elephant in the room is the beginning of opening up your consciousness to a deeper level, because sometimes you can't see for yourself and you need a trigger. And when this trigger comes to you, it's all in divine timing. So when the trigger has come, it means that action has to be taken. So when you're taking the action, everything follows through. So that's what's happening with me. Since that elephant in the room, there's been so many changes in my life, and they've all been very, very positive.
And that's
my husband noticed straight away.
But wait, that's 60 years she's talking about it. 60 years
plus
60 years plus. That's what she was holding on to. She's now 74. We say it openly now. For 60 years plus is when she finally discovered, about a year and a half ago, 2 years. I don't even know what it is anymore.
Yeah.
And this is a whole nother Nivedita compared to that before.
Yeah. I used to always say I had 3 lifetimes in one, but I think I've got 4 lifetimes in one now. Because this is a whole new chapter in my life that I hadn't experienced before, which was very, very powerful and profound.
Definitely so. And so what would you like to say to Nivedita, to Diana? I know we should be closing up soon, but we can talk all night as usual. You know this, right?
Spinning wheel.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did. She's going to give the book. Catherine.
Oh, that's right.
You're going to connect with Catherine. Well, let's see for Diana then. Let's see what Diana gets out of this. But Catherine, you're going to connect with Catherine for that book, right?
Yes.
Diana, let's you spend the week. Close your eyes, Diana. Concentrate really hard on it. Concentrate. Let's see. And you get to choose between Nivedita and myself. So Nivedita does soul operations and stuff. That's a whole nother story. You got 60 minutes with myself, Nivedita. If I were you, I'll take it with Nivedita because you're always with me.
Is it like a consult?
Yes.
Okay, nice. Well, thank you. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I look forward to it too. It's beautiful, that strong soul connection.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, like I said, my favorite is the soul operation. Why don't you quickly tell everyone here what soul operation is about? Because I love it.
A soul operation is like an operation that you would go into surgery for on the physical level. You know, you have the spirit surgeons, you have them all in their gowns and all ready to go for whatever condition, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. And you can ask for help for that. And normally Guanine works through me when I'm doing my soul operations, and she's the goddess of mercy and compassion. And she's also said to be able to heal 184,000 illnesses. So some of which we've never heard of. So it's very, very powerful. And I love doing it. It doesn't take that long, but it's very deep and profound. And I have a lot of really amazing success stories with that. And Dianna is one of them.
And I'm actually, Nivedita is a Guanine lineage holder. And I'm actually studying right now to be the Guanine lineage holder level 1, which came about. And that's a whole nother story. So we all collectively here have our modalities we work with on different levels. And maybe this is why we're speaking of Diana, because maybe it's time to take you to the next level. We don't know. We're not here to convince anyone what we do, but you've experienced what I've done in my NLP and hypnotherapy, and now the Tao hands, you've experienced that as well.
Yes, Tao hands is very deep and very profound and enhances all your other modalities.
If she's talking about going to the airport, she could feel her hands, and your third eye is open, Diana. So that's a whole nother story. My third eye is not open yet. But even with the upliftment that we have, I could feel my hands like, sometimes I can't control it. People don't understand that. I just did one this week with a friend, and her husband had COVID in Scotland. And she just happened to message me, a high school friend, and she said, could you send some blessings here to Scotland? And she said her husband, she didn't know a school chat, her husband has COVID. I said, okay. I've seen this picture on Facebook. I said, all right. So I called her right away and I said what it is. And she said she's fine, but her husband has a COVID. I said, okay. So I gave her a blessing for her to feel, to preventive for the immune system. And then I sent him a blessing. This was, I think was Wednesday or something, or Thursday, whatever. And that evening, now they're 5 hours ahead, he actually was about lunchtime. He got up from the bed. And then the next day, he was up and dressed. She couldn't believe it. And so, and there's only one blessing I gave him for the COVID. And she truly believes it's because of that he was up and about, because before he was in total isolation, he was like in bed, couldn't even move. So this is the power of what we do. And there's some other stories as well, numbness in the face and just things moving around. And do know that sometimes what we do, all of us, it may take 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions, depends, because you only get the healing that's,
layers,
like, layers. When you go to the chiropractor and because this happened to me, you sprain your ankle, fall off a trailer, sprain your coccyx. Yeah, I did all that. You have to let the swelling go down before you can do an adjustment.
You have to honor your physical body.
You have to bring it down to a place where you can do the physical healing, and you have to do. So this is all symbolic, and that's what Nivedita does as well. So we have a lot of magic we can do, cool stuff we can do, whatever you want to call it.
The power, and if you're working with us, Diana, the power of three is very powerful. The power of three can cut gold, we're told. And I'd just like to share, I also had an airport experience like you had. They wouldn't let me on, they weren't going to let me on the plane because I'd been involved in explosives, they said. And, you know, and I mean, me with explosives, please. And I couldn't get on the plane until the last minute. Then they said, oh, you know, I said, look, I'm a healer. I don't do those sort of things.
Didn't hear that story before. Definitely.
Yes. I was detained. I was detained twice for that. And I actually missed my flight once because I was detained and they had to like search me and do all this stuff, and obviously realized that they didn't find anything, but it was my hands. My hands is what made the alarms go off.
Yeah.
But with explosives, they pretty much have to find some sort of residue or something.
Yes, they kept saying to me, they were running.
Oh God, now you're thinking me, I don't even want to travel because I can't handle that headache now, because it's a radioactive sensation or feeling because of the power of it, right? So,
Yeah.
to see that. That means you got to bring yourself down when you're traveling now. Bring all the energy and frequency down. Nivedita, I told you about that phone.
It never goes off.
My phone, that phone, I don't answer. That's a business phone. But anyway, loves, I want to thank you so much, Dianna. Yes, we will connect you with Catherine to get that booked out to her, since she made comments and had questions. And by the way, the last thing she said, I find that with all our children, we are on their journey and to see them through it, which is true. We tend to live everybody else's life but our own, but it's time for us to live our own, because if we can't live our own, how in the world are we supposed to be an example for our children and our children's children and so forth? Exactly. I want to thank you so much, you two. Definitely, I look forward to seeing you on May 1st at the launch, definitely so, and for everything else that's coming up. And it's been a while since I've seen you, so that's good. And, of course, I'm looking forward to where we're doing the radio show and talking more in detail about your story and doing more healing and so forth over there. So any last words from anyone before we say bye-bye?
As usual, I really like to thank you, Dianne, for all of your expertise and your love and your giving.
Yes, and I would like to say thank you, ladies, for having me on the show today. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience. Thank you for all the viewers who are tuning in. Anyone who sees this, I hope you can take away something that will help you along your journey as well. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Dianna. Such a pleasure to meet you.
That's right. One of the things we can do, Dianna, we welcome you back, is maybe one day we will do pretty much the hour practice session. Instead of talking of things, let's do different. Let everybody show pretty much, what we all do and share our experience and give a little taste of what we do. Definitely, I've had like 6 days straight where we had complimentary events, and those were super powerful. And again, once we have it again, I will actually invite you out. And for those who are catching on now, please go back and listen to and do the practice with us, and the blessing. It's there as well. And there's unlimited times you can actually do the 3 minutes blessing that we shared. So go back and listen to it, go back and listen. But if I were you, every time we go back, but not one after the other, maybe every day, every couple of days, and pick a different part of your whatever it is you're dealing with. So on that note, I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for being here as always. Dianna, please do feel free to come back, and let's do an hour or more of just stuff that we can show people how we can do things remotely. That's what people need to know. We can talk until the moon comes home. The moon comes home? That's not the moon. The cows come home. The cows come home, but if they don't get a taste of it, they don't know what we do.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. And
maybe have a healing blessing afternoon or something like that.
Yeah, well, we do things live and we do all sorts of crazy things. And definitely we should talk about, booking a session for the elephant. So once you experience that, you'll understand. It's going to help you tremendously. So on that note, I would love to thank you all. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you who've been with us and for commenting. And definitely check us out, share it, come back again next week. We're here every Monday until you get fed up of us, I guess. But thank you all so much. And we love you all. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Love you, everyone. Bye-bye.